This is Allyson Stark, and I'm here to present a short lesson on using Flipgrid in a library lesson that I'll be using today. Flipgrid.com is a Web 2.0 tool which helps students communicate effectively, helps students to develop a voice to verbally communicate, and students will become involved in digital citizens. What is Flipgrid? Flipgrid is designed to help foster an active social learning community by providing your students a place to share ideas, receive feedback, and spark new ideas. These can be used in your classroom with topics and questions that promote peer-to-peer discussions with your students. Also, students in grades K through 5 will learn to develop a voice and to learn how to present themselves online by using Flipgrid, as well as Flipgrid will provide young students with a safe environment to interact online, so they know this is a safe place where creativity is encouraged and to develop confidence and continue use of Flipgrid. And here's some ideas for using the Flipgrid communities. Everyone can participate. It kind of brings the back row to the front, and everyone has equal time and volunteers to share their beliefs and opinions, and self-expression and respect for others, and diversity of responses, because there's no single correct answer in Flipgrid. It's fun for both students and teachers, and students feel comfortable enough to develop their own unique voice, and it is easy to use. Teachers can set up a class account and have all students work in one account as shared by the teacher. Students will follow a Flipgrid lesson design, respond through video recording to complete each lesson or topic. Flipgrid contains a code for student assignments listed by topic for a class lesson. There are also some other topic resources available to add on, such as a recorded video or add a video, which I have used in mine. Some pros, it is a free application, but there are some limitations. In the short video format, responses push the students to plan and to speak thoughtfully. And it can further classroom conversation by assigning questions, whether they're done in the school day or whether they're sent home for homework. And you can use them for current events and things that are quickly approaching, as well as using for many reviews of books. The cons are, I have listed 3. The technology may be a rate limiting step, and not every student has access to a device with a camera, and some students may not have access to the internet at home, so their work would need to be completed during the day. So the lesson that I'm going to be presenting today would be for my 4th and 5th grade library class students, and I would be using one of the Texas Bluebonnet books. It's one of my favorites, called Ada's Violin by Susan Hood. And the students would first be listening to the story as looked at through YouTube. They will also be looking at Finding Couture, Paraguay, where the student comes from, and the TV documentary on the real life story by the Recycled Orchestra, seen on 60 Minutes. So I will be leading you through that on this Flipgrid. Now, this is the view that the students would see here. This is their assignment. Here's their title, Ada's Violin. There's 4 topics on this particular lesson: listening to the story, Ada's Violin, importance of recycled orchestra, fiction or nonfiction, and the recycled orchestra itself. And so if I want to switch and go to a teacher dashboard, I would push those, and it gives me that I have one grid called Ada's Violin. And so this is how I would edit and compile the lesson together. So when I look at it from a teacher's point of view, first of all, I see that I have 4 different areas right here, 4 different topics, and they each have a code in case a student gets away from the main page, and you can share and all that with your classes. And so I will go back up to Ada's Violin, and I'm going to listen first of all. I'm going to go to view the videos. And so this would be the student's first step, would be to listen to the story.
Ada's Violin, the story of the Recycled Orchestra of Paraguay. Written by Susan Hood, illustrated by Sally Wern-Comfort. Ada Rios.
So they would be listening to that story on there. Then I'll go back and go into back into Ada's Violin, and I will this time go back into viewing as a student. And so the second part, of their assignment is learning about the importance of the recycled orchestra, which is a 60 minutes segment that was actually shown several years ago, and this is a shortened version for students in schools to use. And so they would watch the video.
Dual source, garbage. Its instruments are created after being recycled from the local dump. The result is giving unique harmony to a group of kids. 60 Minutes correspondent Bob Simon.
So they would be able then to go in, and they're going to be asked to talk about the importance of the recycled orchestra to the small town of Couture. So they would push the click onto the plus, and there you see myself at the video camera, and they would record their answer right here using the red button. And I have a 1.5 minute limit on their speaking. They would post that for their views and reflections and opinions about what they heard and read. So then I will go back to Ada's Violin, and I'm on the student page. So I've done the first two. I've listened to the story, and I've seen the documentary. So now I'm going to look at a lesson that would be part of our library lesson is fiction or nonfiction. Would you place Ada's Violin, the story of the Recycled Orchestra of Paraguay by Susan Hood, as a fiction or nonfiction story, and why? Record the elements of the type of literature on your video and post. So they would go again to the plus sign, and they would be telling me if they felt like this is a fiction story or nonfiction, and why. What are some of the characteristics of these two areas of our literature? And then we'll go back, and our final area is our reflection part. That's the recycled orchestra reflection. And this time they're going to record a short answer to one of the following reflection questions. Of course, they can do more than one, but I'm asking for one. How do you perceive the possibility of making a musical instrument out of daily trash? What materials from trash would you use to make an instrument? What is an instrument that you would be interested in making, and why? So they would go to record their answers here. And then as well, just as a follow-up and an added activity, I have put another link in here. I'll click onto that. And that actually takes them to Google Maps. And I've put in the Escuela de Música Cultura, which is the actual area in Paraguay that has the story has come from. You'll notice over here, and I can click on that and see where I'm at and kind of look around to what's in that area, and be learning about some things that are in that area specifically that kids would be interested in. So if I go back to this, you will see that this lesson would complete a class period of 45 minutes. Students would be learning about technology and how to move around in it. And it has the purpose of it is the student will demonstrate knowledge and appropriate use of technology systems and content. Again, that gives our emphasis. We will be adding responses and replies that I can keep track of, and other students can too. And again, I can go back to the teacher dashboard at any time to see and view topics, and I may need to even edit them at times. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you will be using Flipgrid in your classroom.